Hello, my friends, and welcome to another exciting video right here on Blades TV. This is going to be something a little different. I know we've been talking about behind the guitar and all that stuff. So this is the first video we're going to talk about behind the album. Album that just holds a lot of great memories for me and still sounds as great as it did the day it was released almost 20 years ago. Next year will be 20 years. It came out in 2005. And that is this record right here. L.A. Guns, Tales from the Strip. Produced by the late, great Andy Johns. For those of you who don't know who Andy Johns is, Andy was an English producer. His body of work is just epic. I mean, Led Zeppelin, Rod Stewart, Eddie Money, Rolling Stones. He did the F.U.C.K. Album by Van Halen, Cinderella, Chickenfoot. The list goes on. So this was the second record I'd done with Andy. The first one was Rips the Covers Off, which was a cover album. We started writing for this back in 2004, and when Adam Hamilton, who was the bass guitar player, was in the band still. And Adam had this really cool apartment at Park La Brea, and he had this little studio in the corner of his living room, and he had like a cool little electronic drum set and Pro Tools set up, and we would just get together 3 or 4 times a week. I would drive over there and we would just hash out ideas and riffs and, a lot of stuff he had already kind of mapped out with certain songs. So I'll just kind of go through track by track, and there's so many good songs on this, so many good songs. And it was very fresh, the songwriting approach. We weren't trying to sound like the band back in 1988 or 89. We wanted something that was just balls out, hooky, straight up hard rock. So the creative process was very exciting. So we did a lot of pre-production where we just wrote and wrote and wrote. So we had a good 20 songs to choose from when we entered the studio. So full band, we did, I think, a month of pre-production over in North Hollywood. And so we got the songs pretty tight, and then we went in with Andy and started tracking. So just gonna kind of go through that and just recall my memories of each song as much as I can recall. We did this at Unison Studios, and that is Bruce Whitkin's place. And Bruce engineered Rips the Covers Off. Bruce actually engineered Waking the Dead too. That was produced by Andy Johns. So Bruce also engineered Rips the Covers Off, Tales from the Strip, and Hollywood Forever. So he had this really cool studio over in West Hollywood. And we would just kind of start at 11 in the morning and work till about, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And we did the bed tracks with Steve. Was a machine. Steve Riley, God rest his soul. Steve was a machine, man. He could knock out song after song in one take. We were really prepared because we had written for a good 3 months solid, did a month's worth of rehearsal pre-production with the song. So when we entered the studio, we were super prepared and ready. So laying down the bed tracks, it really didn't take too long. And if my memory serves me correct, I think Adam had this great, one of those kind of egg-looking Line 6 Pro pods. That thing would get such great sound. So I think I just used that. I don't think I played through an amp until I started tracking my guitars. So I think it was a week we knocked out, within a week and a half or 10 days, we knocked out all the drums and the bass. Like I said, we were super prepped. So I don't have very many memories of that process. I just remember like, wow, Steve, man, you got that in one take. And, you know, Andy didn't have to spend too much time with Steve. You know, once they got a drum sound, it was just like, okay, record. You know, and Andy would have a few suggestions here and there, but it was a pretty quick process. So on to my guitars. So as far as amps went, I had earlier that year, I think late 2004, early 2005, I'd scored a really good endorsement with St. Louis Music. So I got a couple of great Blue Voodoo 120s, and those were kind of fairly brand new amps that were tube amp, amazing. So I got the newest version, of those amps. So they were brand new, and I still use those amps. They've held up so great over 20 years. We also used a Marshall, I think it was a 79, is it a JMP? And it sounded really good too. So Andy would blend those two amps through two 412 cabinets. I have a picture of my rig setup somewhere. I'll have to maybe throw it in when I edit this video and throw it in there. Yeah, it's somewhere in amongst boxes and photo albums. But anyway, so we started just tracking all the rhythm guitars. As far as guitars went, I had my 94 Classic Les Paul Classic Plus. And I think there was another Les Paul there too, and I had my 95 Epiphone Gold Top Standard. Adam had a really nice Fender Strat we also used, and Bruce Wicken, the engineer, had a 62 Telly that sounded amazing. Fender 62 Telly. So those were kind of the arsenal of guitars for that record. So there's lots of different guitars that were just used straight up, but also mixed together, between the Fender Strat or the Telly and the Les Paul, or sometimes it was just a Les Paul. So anyways, here's the back of the album. And that was made into a cartoon. That was not drawn. That's an actual photo. That was done by William Haynes, who was a famous photographer. And that's a pretty cool photo. And then because of the cartoon-esque drawing, we wanted to make the picture on the back the same. And I believe that was another shot by William Haynes. And you have all the credits and stuff like that. And I sort of cringe when I look at this photo with my Right Said Fred mesh shirt, but you know, it was 20 years ago. Those started coming back into fashion, I believe. At least I got to tell myself that. So yeah, I kind of look at that picture and go, oh man. Anyways, but cool design. This was released on Shrapnel Records. My buddy Mike Varney, who has exact same birthday, I believe, as me, fellow Scorpio. So anyways, that's all the design on that. So let's talk about the tracks on this. It Don't Mean Nothing. That was one of the first songs that I think Adam wrote the main riff of that, and so that was pretty cool to lay down as a really badass driving song. And I just remember, you know, playing to the drums and bass on that. It was exciting because I knew this was like really good song. I think I used my Gibson Les Paul Classic on that. Electric Neon Sunset. The beginning of that was really cool dynamic. It's I believe I used a Taylor acoustic on that. I don't remember whose it was. It might have been Bruce's. So that was cool. You can hear that guitar as a clean guitar. There's a clean Les Paul on that too. And that song's very kind of Zeppelin-y, just big, bombastic groove. So I believe we layered down 4 guitar tracks on that. And in fact, you know what? Now I remember I had this really nice, and I could kick myself in the ass for selling it. I had this really nice 2001 Epiphone wine red Les Paul standard that had Seymour, I put Seymour Duncan 59 pickups in it, and that guitar sounded really good. And I remember adding that 4th track of guitars with that guitar. So that's a really cool song, one of my favorites. Gypsy Soul, another song that Adam wrote the main riff. And I used his Fender Strat on that, I believe. That's a great song too. You know what's very cool about this is that at that time, I remember Phil was in Japan. And we were all curious, like, what's he gonna sing on this? And I remember when my guitars were done and he came in, and he just went in there and just kicked ass. And we were all sitting around going, holy shit, these songs are really good. We were all like, wow. Phil had come up with some amazing vocal melodies and dictation, and the way he delivered stuff was just top notch. But anyways, getting back to songs, Vampire. We demoed that song, and the demo of that, I hate to say it, was almost better than what came out on this album. The demo was amazing. And that was a song that was brought to us by, oh God, what was that kid's name? He was a young guy, singer-songwriter, and it was just acoustic guitar, and he wrote the lyrics too. And we knew it was a great song, and we thought, oh boy, wait till we get our mitts into this thing. And if you just heard the original version of him just singing it with those chords and what you hear on this, we went to town on that. I believe I used a Fender Strat, and all the clean parts, we actually used a Leslie. There was one at the studio, and that Andy Johns was all about that. And then there's a clean track on it as well, just straight guitar. And the solo, which I'm very, very proud of, I think it's one of my best solos. I really want to create a David Gilmour Comfortably Numb type solo, and the song's in B minor, as is Comfortably Numb. So I really want to capture that vibe. I thought I did a great job on that. And that was the Fender 62 Telly I used on that. Was pretty awesome. Fantastic song, a hit song. You know, it is such a great song. Hollywood's Burning, another fun track. I think Adam and I wrote that musically together. And Phil wrote all the lyrics and vocal melodies of all these songs, which just added that much more to them. That's a great song. The Earthshaker thing, that was really cool how Steve, you know, created that kind of drum instrumental, and we came up with all these grooves to it. There was so much creativity pre-production going into this. It was just, we were on top of our game. It was just an amazing time in my life. Rock's Baby Girl, I don't really remember really recording that. I think I just used my Les Paul on that. Crazy Motorcycle, that was fun because there's this kind of trippy trade-off solo thing that I do with different guitars, and I used a Les Paul and a Strat. Yeah, that's a ripping song. Yeah. I just remember laughing because it was so much fun to record, and the solo is just manic. And you know, I remember Andy and I just kind of laughing when doing this trade-off thing, and he EQ'd the solos all differently. So that was fun. What else? Skin. that was a song brought in by Spike from the Choir Boys. And this is one of my favorites on the album Skin. Just a cool, funky kind of, just this ethereal, trippy melodies and stuff. And these guitar vocal answer things are cool with that did with the wah. At the end of the song, Andy wanted a kind of a lead, sparse lead thing, and then let loose a little bit. So he had this melody and he kept humming it to me, and Andy was English. He's like, all right, dear boy, you had to talk like this. Listen here. Da 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 da. He would go. So when I would do it, and he goes, no, 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 no. Da 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 da. And I just, I can laugh back at that. It was such a fun memory. And so I did a couple of those, and he was smiling, and then he's just like, all right, just go and play. And I remember I hit this note, and just this subsonic harmonic, it rang out like to the universe. And it was such a cool moment when I can see me standing up with Andy sitting right next to me at the control board, and he had this shit in grain, and I just sort of went for it. And this weird kind of climbed down. It just came out of me. It was totally spur of the moment. So those little magic moments that you get in the studio. So a lot of good memories on that. The rest of it, Shame was really cool, kind of Velvet Revolver-ish. That was one of the first songs. Adam wrote kind of the main riff, and that's a fucking cool song. But yeah, very kind of STP-ish, Velvet Revolver-ish on that. Resurrection, I think that's a song that I remember the riff. Adam had it for a while, so we kind of worked that up, and then the instrumental Amaneceer, and then I think my least favorite song is I Can't Give You Anything Better Than Love, and I remember nobody was really excited about that song. I remember I wanted this kind of Randy Rhoads solo on it. I remember Andy just being like he kind of chuckled because it was like he hadn't really heard anything like that, even though it's just like, dude, you did work with Van Halen, right? So that song's okay. I would say that's the most filler of all of these songs on there, but either way, front to back, just a great record. And the tour we did was that year was quite good as well. So that's it, man. Tales from the Strip, guys. Great album. If you don't have this album, which I know a lot of you do, check it out. It's fucking fantastic record, man. Very proud of this, and produced by, again, my dear friend who I miss dearly, Mr. Andy Johns. Rest in peace, brother. Miss you, pal. And yeah, so that's behind the album, LA Guns, Tales from the Strip, 2005, Shrapnel Records. Check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe, and more exciting videos, fun videos, stories to come. Bye for now.